Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to another Final Fantasy Brave Exodus video, and today we're going to talk about fixed dice. So it's been a while since fixed dice has even been relevant, because if you're new to the game and you came after the fixed dice was actually nerfed, yes, a piece of gacha in the game. Yeah, 4-star TMRs were actually a pretty big deal back then. I know nowadays you don't even look at them, but the gacha related element of the game was nerfed. So, yes, this attack was changed recently, but on global right now it's way lower than this. So the variance on fixed dice was heavily reduced because it had such a huge value to it. Even though it had low attack, you could get high variance. You had high variance, so you'd be able to do a lot of damage in certain situations. That was why it was really popular on 2B and 7-star Deus, just to name a few. And they nerfed it, and the reason how they nerfed it was basically changing the entire game for one item, so that weapons that had under a certain value of attack were going to be much weaker than weapons that had much higher attack. So that's how they were able to do that. So now I didn't make a video on this when it came out, and that was a bad decision on my part, I guess, but they did update fixed dice. This is not the updated version to make it a comparison to what the old one. And I wish I could do the one that had the lower attack value, but this one's just by default they raised the attack of this. So you don't need to know Japanese to know that this variance is really kind of bad. 0.03 to 1.9, which is okay at the end. But of course, you're almost never going to see this unless you refresh, like you retry several times. So we're only going to do one time. We're only doing one take. And yes, it's against the training dummy, but to be fair, the fixed dice is just, I would much rather just to do this. So obviously we're going a fire team, and the tag chainer we're using is just, you know, it just has the double attack thing. It's something special. We're not talking about the tag chainer here. We're talking about Deus, and so we'll go ahead and imbue with her stuff, and I'm going to get back to you on his SLB turn, because I don't want to wait in the video for too long here. So we brought Squall along. He has 130% fire in peril, which will be fair. We'll be using him for both versions of this, so just to be fair with that. And now we are going to use his SLB with the regular fixed dice. I'll show you guys again, just so I'm not making any weird comparisons here. This is the normal fixed dice version. Still has the same thing I showed you before. And let's see if I can get this going here. Okay, I got it. Sometimes there's lag or something involved with them. So I'm not going to say if it's good or bad damage. You came to the wrong video if you want me to compare that stuff. We're only talking about the comparisons between if this fixed dice is worth upgrading and worth making a big deal out of it or not. So that is the only thing I'm going to be comparing, not the damage numbers, because the damage numbers frankly are irrelevant in this video. I'm only comparing the two fixed dice versions. Actually, technically there will be 3 versions, but I'm only going to be going to +2. Not going. There's a +1 and a +2, or we're going to be talking about the +0 and +2 in this video, because there really isn't a reason to look at +1. I mean, do you use 2 Lunafreya stabs that are not maxed? I don't think so. So yeah, this will be going in the next part of this video. Okay, we're going to be doing 3 parts. There's actually 3 versions of fixed dice. So we did the weakest one, technically the weakest one, and now we're doing the second version, which has a slightly higher variance, as you can see here. The last one was a bit weaker. Still has the highest attack, the attack that it has now, and now we'll see what that does. The last one is going to be more of a classic, as you'll see soon. So I'm going to get to turn 3. So use Squall's LB yet again, and after that we can go. Okay, so that's what a slightly higher variance, and then of course we'll be doing the last version which you might guess what the last version might be. So I'll see you then. All right, I teased you apparently. It appears that only Final Fantasy 6 units can equip the one with the higher variants. Very sad indeed. So at least I can show you what it looks like. Okay, it's actually even worse because only Setzer can equip this. Only the 2 versions of Setzer can equip this at all, so like what's the point? It's the variance obviously, as you can see there, is very high. But there's no point in going to this version. So it was tough because the source of information that I looked at didn't say anything about needing Setzer or anything like that, so obviously using Setzer would be a waste of time because he's a 7-star and it wouldn't really show off anything. Like, and you can just see that the variance is very high. It is actually quite insane, but being locked to Setzers only, that's just ridiculous. So it is what it is, but at least you can look forward to the other version, which has slightly higher variance for Tiana. Like if you're using Tiana and you can use a throwing weapon finisher or something like that on someone else, or just use it on Tiana as well, that's fine. Obviously it doesn't give any magic, so it might not be the absolute best, but we went through some twists and turns in this video, didn't we? I was learning. I knew everything else except for this part. This is the thing that threw me off, because like when I went to go equip it was darkened out. Like, what? And then it was like, oh, maybe it says Final Fantasy 6. I'll switch to a Final Fantasy 6 and put it on Shadow or something, I guess. And then it didn't work either, so there's no point in trying out Setzer. Like I said, you can just do it for yourself. Like, you can just use your own imagination. He'll probably be hitting decently high, but nothing that amazing because he's a 7-star. Maybe if he becomes a Neo Vision Awakened and he gains a finisher move or something, that'd be, you know, pretty crazy to do, but I doubt they'll be doing that anytime soon. Anyways, at least you can look forward to some fixed dice being changed and not being completely nerfed anymore. At least that's something to look forward to. Thank you guys very much for watching. Appreciate ya, and I hope to see you in the next video.